Hey guys, welcome back to the Danny Bossa podcast. In this video, we're going to be discussing hair loss prevention products such as Finasteride and whether or not they're safe for you to take or if they can potentially be increasing your risk of severe neurological issues. So stay tuned for my part 3 interview with Dave Lee. So Dave, millions of men have been using these, hair loss prevention products like Finasteride to slow down hair loss. And it's become a pretty widely controversial topic because most of them will claim it's safe and effective and, there's virtually no risk of side effects. But I see more and more people joining these PFS or post-Finasteride support groups who've become completely and utterly messed up by this stuff and unable to find a fix. And not only that, but I was blown away to hear that you've seen cases of this not only occurring from guys using things like Finasteride and other DHT blocking compounds, but even things like saw palmetto. So is this something you're seeing to be very common, or is it just the fact that you're seeing, the select few that get these issues and come to see you?
Yeah, it's becoming more common. And I'm very outspoken about this, that I think that any doctor who is still prescribing Finasteride shouldn't have a medical license. But the thing when you look at Finasteride, right, is that when people say, oh, it's 1 in a million, 1 in a billion, because I hear that all the time, all you need to do is go on Wikipedia, because Wikipedia summarizes all the fucking studies. Like, Wikipedia is not accurate for a lot of things, but for Finasteride, it's a pretty good collation of resources to start with. And I don't know about you, but if some doctor prescribed me any pharmaceutical drug, even before I was in this field, I would Wikipedia it to at least get an idea of it. And all people need to do is scroll down to the part that says lawsuit. And then you can open the case study, it's not the case study, the class action. You can read the transcript from court where they found that there was a huge amount of men who suffered permanent side effects. And then it came out the company knew exactly what the permanent side effects were and still put the drug to market. And they lost the class action. But all they lost as a result was that they had to change the package insert to say that 100% of side effects resolve on cessation of the drug. They just had to remove that part. So the problem at the moment, and it's all there, it's all on Wikipedia. And it's when you actually look at the studies, which it's very easy to find the meta-analysis of this. The side effects rate are up to 15% in the studies for Finasteride. That is a huge amount of side effects for a drug to get approved. I don't know any other drugs that get used as routinely as Finasteride that cause that level of side effects, 15% of the population. So studies range from 1 to 15% for side effects, but they do tend to be higher than, the 1 in 1,000, 1 in a billion thing that people talk about, which is ridiculous. But the big problem with these 5-alpha reductase inhibitors is now a lot of companies are doing direct-to-consumer marketing via social media. So there are multiple companies in Australia who are basically set up as telemedicine clinics that purely prescribe Finasteride. A lot of the time they'll compound in oral minoxidil, which is absolutely absurd because that acts as a 5-AR when you take it orally. You can just take it fucking topically over the counter, which is absurd. But yeah, it's becoming more and more prevalent because more and more guys are getting put on these drugs. But when you look at the videos from the doctors explaining this, they have YouTube videos, they have instructional videos or things on their website where they basically say side effects are very, very rare and side effects will resolve on cessation, which is completely opposite to what the literature and the case study class action had said. So yeah, it's very worrying because a lot of these doctors are making a very, very profitable business model of preying off men's insecurities. And the big thing, I'm obviously bald, so I obviously got affected by hair loss, and so are you. But I lost my hair before TRT. But the big thing that I talk to these guys about is when it's coming down to, if you should or shouldn't take Finasteride. You saw my old band photos. I had really fucking cool hair. I was more when these guys tell me that they're attached to their hair, I'm I was very attached to that, right? Losing my hair, when I lost it, it was right when I first had my brain injury. I was, 62, 63 kilos, didn't have a beard. I remember crying when I went to the barber to get it shaved off. I was distraught, but I was smart enough to know that there were no safe hair loss solutions. So I had to go bald. It's you've got to pick one. You've got to either pick risking your physical and mental health or going bald. And the thing is that if you are thinking of risking your physical and mental health for the sake of keeping your hair, I would say that you have some kind of other mental health issues, because you need to really look into that, because that is a shit-framed way of looking at things. Because when it comes to what you're doing, you're essentially sacrificing capacity for being pretty. And that is not what men should be doing. And this is what I tell guys. I say, yeah, most people, like, I think we suit being bald, but I think most people can look better with hair, because they can style it whatever way they want to. And if you find a good haircut that suits you, yeah, you'd probably look better with hair than bald. 100%, we all would. But the most important thing for your value to the opposite sex, or the same sex if you're inclined that way, I don't give a fuck, or society as a man, is your capacity to do shit. What can you do? What kind of value can you provide? What can you offer? And I can assure you, if you've got physical strength and you've got a good personality, you're a nice person, you're in shape, but most importantly, you have some kind of like capacity and value that you can actually offer and do something in the world, that is far more important than your fucking haircut. People need to realize this, men need to realize and go, my value is not based on how pretty I am. Yeah, physical attraction comes in a lot of ways for men, but hiding behind your haircut is just because you know that you have no other value to offer to the world.